let's just make sure that this is working, because you gotta do it, you gotta make sure. Yeah, okay, I see a little voice bar. Keeping it elementary here. Yeah, okay. So if I'm correct, I got these things here. I just want to make sure you understand too, because now I think I got a little bit more of a. I found these things one day, I was drawn to them, and it just so happened to be right on the anniversary. Not this one, that's another one. Yeah. I used to have this thing with National Geographic. I love National Geographic. I thought it was a cool magazine. It always had like great pictures. And at one point I even had a subscription. Did you know that? I had a subscription to National Geographic. Now, it's the kind of thing, if you look through some records, you might notice that. You might know I had a subscription to National Geographic, and I also had a subscription to The Economist. It's the only magazines and publications I've ever had a subscription to. Anyway, one day I'm going through, I find some dollar or some, it's this one, yeah. Because it's got the, let me make sure, I find some old National Geographics, and I start looking at it, I'm like, wait a second, this isn't what I think it is it? Like when I was in Fort Worth, and I contact the senator, and his office hadn't gotten back to me at all, and then all of a sudden, at a very pivotal time, he sends me a goddamn fucking notice on his defense of the Second Amendment. And you know the first thing was that I thought it was? Kamala Harris. See, one of allegedly Kamala Harris's first cases involved a San Francisco police officer that had been shot by an assault rifle. And apparently she refused to seek the death penalty because, as she said, or was quoted as saying, her constituency was against the death penalty. I don't think that's what it is. I think it was her hedging on having available a lesser option in terms of punishment in the event that somebody were to get caught shooting law enforcement using an automatic assault rifle. I literally think that's what it was. Now, do I think that when you're a young district attorney and you're going through your first case that you were that calculating? Well, I gotta be honest with you. I don't think you should be allowed to be elected district attorney if you don't have the capacity to be that calculating. We're not talking about a regular lawyer here. We're talking about somebody who has to deal with serious criminals and understand the long-term implications of that. Now, what do you do if you're someone like me that may well have had that kind of calculation? You might well have had a natural capacity to be able to engage in matters at that level. But somebody decided early in their hedging strategy before you were even old enough to consummate their contract that they wanted a different role for you. Well, it's okay. I think really rather than the ad, what I should provide you with is the case. There's this case. It's about Taurus handguns. There's a recall. I think it had something to do with the firing pin. Now, would that have been a part of the gun that would have been made from titanium? And does that have anything to do with the fact that when I was, 19, 20, I was told that my mother had a stomach staple operation to deal with her GI tract that went bad, so she had to have her entire stomach removed? But after only 2 years, my father said they had passed the statute of limitations to sue. Was that because somebody was more concerned with other kinds of medical devices? And I went to the website of Kamala Harris one day when I was trying to contact the Senate Intelligence Committee. I contacted every member of the Senate Intelligence Committee that day because I believed that there was a very substantial national security threat, including in connection with what was about an update to a database regarding safety for transportation workers. Now I believe you know that in my past I had sex with somebody who would have potentially been registered in that database, and you wanted to frame me and you wanted to frame him. And part of the way you wanted to frame him is that I've had sex with more than one person that would have been registered in that database. And you wanted to swap the two of them out, didn't you? Because you've been doing it for years. Right? Am I being fed cupcakes because you have some obligation connected to me personally around titanium? Did you allow Pakistan to be used as a proxy for outstanding deals the United States has with Gazprom? Did you last year allow the president to try to remotely detonate me to engage in a sex act as some sort of demonstration of performance compliance when the Prime Minister of Pakistan was on site at the White House? Did the White House specifically call for the attempted assassination of Imran Khan when he was at the point where he was swearing in, and did they fail? So is this the kind of thing where the White House or people involved in the White House called for the assassination of a head of state of another country, and now they have what? A debt? Were they hoping to offset the fact that somebody had called for the assassination of a head of state in order to address matters connected to the pension system at the level of the presidential pension system, and now it falls on whose head? Or have we trebled it? Are we at the point where it's literally such an egregious offense that we're at treble damages, and every fucking time you jackasses keep kicking it back to civil as opposed to prosecuting it for high crimes that it really is, you're literally at triple damages. And you're not paying. Every fucking day, you refuse to pay. And it accumulates, and it accumulates. Is that where we're at? Because that's what I understand it is. Now let's get to the subject of the 27th. You refuse to give me information on my credit union account. You have no right to try to manipulate people that might have some sort of genetic connection with my son in order to try to play some disgusting game connected to your bastardization of anti-money laundering policy. You should have actually been dealing with money laundering. You shouldn't have been trying to genetically engineer people, and you shouldn't have been trying to terrorize people after you've murdered their children. You understand? I hope that you get this straight. I hope that you make sure that you deal with this appropriately, because right now you owe the world, and no, you owe me and my family, my actual fucking family, the heads of 3 presidents of the United States. See, I only said 2 because it was a specific pattern of racketeering activity connected to a criminal drug enterprise, and at the time, there was not a just legal claim for saying that it included presidents that were president prior to the implementation of the Affordable Care Act. And insofar as we were discussing it, or as it was a matter of consideration under the Kingpin statute, which talks about the structural mechanism through which the criminal enterprise was effectuated, it would have been merely political gamesmanship to try to put within those considerations people that did not qualify at the time. Unfortunately, it seems the qualifications have changed. Why? Because of what's in here. Did you think it was cute? You didn't agree, and that's fine. But you already placed me there and my life there as part of your Holocaust flip, and it didn't work.